Good evening. I'm Kevin Jones, and this is my beautiful wife, Allison Jones.
And welcome to the Relationship Rundown channel.
All right, so y'all don't forget to subscribe, like us, leave us comments. And as we always ask, if you have any topics you would like us to talk about, you can send us an email at relationshiprundown@gmail.com.
Yep.
So what are we talking about today, honey?
I think we should explore whether or not you feel like you should play traditional roles in your marriage, or if you should look at who does what the best.
Let's look at it. All right, so we're back, and we're about to discuss who should do what in a relationship. If traditional roles are required to sustain a happy home.
So what would you say would have been your view 18 years ago when we got engaged?
Truthfully, I did not know what traditional roles were outside of the fact that the man should be the CEO of the household or the head of the household. Anything beyond that, what that entailed, what a woman should do, what a man should do, I didn't really understand what the role entailed. I mean, you always hear the man should be the head of the household, but what does that mean?
Well,
and 18 years ago, I didn't know what it meant. So, to answer,
well, if that's what you knew, you had some perspective of what it meant. So you heard it. Well, what did you think it meant? Whether you knew what it meant, you had to think it meant something.
I actually just thought that the man controlled the direction of the family. Actually, and that was 18 years ago, and I still believe in part ways that, partially that should be an accurate statement in your household, that a man should be the head of your household and control the direction of the family.
So if you take it from I'll call it a philosophical standpoint, what do you think about like traditional roles like paying the bills, taking care of the children, what are the other, cooking dinner, breakfast, meals, etc.?
So to me, it goes a lot deeper than that. It's more about what works best for the couple. Take our household.
I agree.
When you think about generating money or revenue for the home, you have to say, what's the best situation? A lot of families actually, I don't believe, really know what the best situation is. I'll share something with you guys out there. But I made a statement before we got married. I knew my wife was committed to building a career in corporate America. At the time, I was in telecom, I was doing well, and I was like, I can go anywhere and get a job. So wherever you go or your career takes you, honey, and this is what I said, wherever your career takes you, honey, I'll go.
You did say that.
That's a bold statement because 17 years ago, I didn't know exactly what that meant.
Right.
I didn't know that my life would make turns and changes. I didn't know the industry would change. I would fall behind in the industry or just change what industries I'm in. But I was true to that commitment because I knew that even at that time that money or me there making the money wasn't the big deal in our relationship. Mm-hmm. I also knew about our relationship that if I expected my wife to be the one that was the homebody, cooking, cleaning, and doing all of that our relationship would never work. She's not that young lady.
No.
Not at all. Not at all.
I would rather pay somebody to do that. I do not like cooking. I cook to eat. If it was just me, I would eat hot dogs and beans all the time. I cook because I know my family deserves a good meal. They don't deserve a bunch of junk. But yeah, I'd probably go out to eat a lot or just cook whatever was convenient. So I don't do that. But I think where we have gotten into our biggest arguments have been around projects around the house and making big purchases. Because I always like to say, I'm an engineer. I know what I'm doing. This one over here reads no directions. Be putting stuff together backwards. Reads no directions. We've had...
Okay. So if y'all would like to hear true stories, I want y'all to ask her about a few things. I'll start with ceiling fans. The engineer puts up a ceiling fan that ticked.
It wasn't incorrect.
For years. I don't know why. Hey,
it wasn't incorrect.
I don't know why.
That's the one thing he's done around the house. The one. You ask him about why my daughter's nursery looked like a fun house because he was in there putting up chair rails that slid down the wall. When I suggested that not only he get them cut at Home Depot so they would fit together evenly in the corners, but he was in the room cutting things with a hacksaw, not a hacksaw, a jigsaw, and an ironing board. Wondering why they weren't straight.
I'm talented.
No, he made
and
a fun
it looked
house.
phenomenal.
It looked like you were in a fun house. And
it looked phenomenal. Everybody said, oh, this looks so nice.
Because we had to push the baby's crib in the corner so nobody could see that it had slid down into a V instead of going around the wall nicely. We got into such a bad argument. We needed to paint the room. I was pregnant. And we got into such a bad argument. I started screaming. I think I saw red. I probably could have hit him in the head with a paint can to the white meat. Down to the white meat. My sister had to just say, you know what, Kevin? You just might as well leave because nothing you say right now is just going to make the situation better. And then I was in the room with a bathrobe on my knees, crying and painting the room, and crying and painting the room. Until my sister came and rescued me from this fiasco, which was a fun house. It turned out okay in the end, but we did have to make some concessions because he don't be wanting to listen to me. And I'm an engineer, so I know how things go.
Hey, let me just say this to everyone that's watching.
All he got to talk about is that ceiling fan. That's the only story.
13 years ago, I realized that her saying she's an engineer doesn't mean a lickety-split to me.
Yes,
because
everything is hung. He lost all my tools, all my drills. He be giving away stuff.
Our cameraman is laughing in the background.
He gives away stuff.
Stuff.
I have a laser level that I use to line up everything. He gives away stuff all the time. Where's our blower for the yard, babe?
Blower.
Exactly.
Let me take it back. She's
he
talking about a blower that I bought and then I gave to my
He don't buy the tools around here, so he gives them away.
I bought it and then I gave it to my stepfather to get it back, and I just never got it back from him because I knew he needed it more. Right. And I spent like $50 on it. So.
Okay. All right.
Anyway.
So at the end of the day, when it comes to projects around the house, I would rather do the projects because what he does is he will do them incorrectly or put me out the room and say, you're not my supervisor.
So once again, folks, working together, we kind of got off track to me because I don't believe that's true. We live in a home which every project around this house I've done. Yay or nay?
For them cameras? Because that's what you wanted to do. You wanted to make it a smart house. And no, you haven't done it correctly because I got 15 apps on my phone to look at 15 cameras. Like each camera got a different app. So I don't think that was done well.
It's hard to talk to this young lady right now.
We got Ring, we got Kuna, we got, how many other camera apps we got to look at something going on around this house?
We have Ring.
We have Kuna.
And then we have Samsung. That's it.
3 apps just to see what's
Our
going on.
house is Samsung Smart Home. So they all tie into the Samsung Smart Home app, but she is an engineer, just doesn't know how to use the app.
I do know how to use
Anyway,
the
let's
apps.
get back to the topic.
It's stupid to have to use 3 apps, but that's okay. We do live in a smart home now. But anyway, go ahead, babe.
So anyway, you should know what role and create a role for yourself in your relationship. Mm-hmm. And you should plan out at the beginning what roles you'll play, even if you grow. Now, those roles can change.
That's true.
And I recommend revisiting those roles throughout your relationship. If it's I don't think every 6 months is a long enough time to really change. But sometimes
depends.
something happens. You lose your job, or y'all need to relocate. You have children, so you have to reevaluate the roles in your relationship. But a lot of people are a stickler for the traditions. And let me jump into what traditions I'm referencing. A lot of people say, okay, you should put all your money together. The man should pay all of the bills, or at least the majority of the major bills. A woman should take care of the house, or at least
and
cook,
the children or something.
And the children, and make decisions as it pertains to the house and the children. And be there for all of their sporting events and all of that. That's just the traditional way to look at a relationship. And I'm not saying that that doesn't work. What I'm saying is, just because you don't do it that way doesn't mean that your relationship will not work.
Right. I think you have to do what works for your relationship.
Absolutely.
You have to do what works for your relationship and what's fair. So one of the things like we do is it's kind of like pay what you weigh. So if you're bringing in $100,000 and your spouse is only bringing in $50,000, but they may be a teacher. They love what they do. They're excited about going to work every day. They shouldn't pay half the bills.
No.
I mean, why should they be left with nothing at the end of the month? It should be, hey, I make 100, you make 50. I like what I'm doing. You like what you're doing. So you're going to put in according to what you make. So you're going to put in 25% toward the household bills, and I'm going to put in 75% because I make more. And I think that, sometimes we get caught up in these traditional things, and it's really not working for the other person, and they don't necessarily want to say this is not working for me because they feel like, well, I need to live up to this traditional role. So I say do what works for you.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody else tell you what should work for you, because at the end of the day, some of them people don't still be together. And they try and tell you what needs to work.
Some people try to put a square peg into a circle hole. And
I think it's a round hole, man.
Y'all know what I mean. But the point is, it just won't work. And as long as you continue to bang and bang, it just makes the situation even worse, and it's tough. I'll be honest. Depending on your culture, your upbringing, some things, just as much as you say you want them to work and it seems like they may work, they're not going to work. And I'll say this to all out. We want an audience of all races and genders and nationalities, but truthfully, we know a lot of black people. One thing I will say about black people. Yeah, one thing I will say about black people, especially in black women, it's hard for a black woman to work and their man to sit at home. I clearly understand that. So if a black woman says, hey, honey, I'll go to work and you can stay at home and be a stay-at-home dad and do this and all that don't really work that well. So you have to actually work towards making that work better, because certain things are tougher than other things. But what I'll say is, and the point I'm making is, you have to be realistic on the expectations of your relationship. When you come up with plans and you say, ooh, well, honey, I'm going to be the one that does this and you'll be the one that does this, it may not work out like you planned. Even if you sat down, put some thought into it. And that's why I say revisit it at least once a year and reevaluate what is important.
Anything. I don't know where he's coming up with these rules.
Well, and we revisited.
What have we revisited?
Let me just say this. We have a unique relationship. She does so well with her career that I am the improviser in the family or in the relationship. Like, I improvise. I make things work.
I think I'm hearing some code speak around here.
Yeah, I make things work. You heard me. I make I'm going to be home at 6 and I don't come home until 9 o'clock p.m. work. I'm just that dude. My point is, so in our relationship, we had some ideas, and this is where I'm stressing to you guys on what our relationship should be like. I do believe, while she does a ton of things for our household, she is the true CFO of this family financially, and I'm good with that. Is she the greatest with money? No.
Yes, I am.
No.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, our cameraman.
Who has the most money?
Once again,
Exactly.
She has the money because she makes the money. Duh.
I save money too.
And to all our people watching, she make like 5 times more than me. 5 times.
So I save money.
No, she don't make that much. I'm just messing. Next.
So I save money.
Don't look out for me no way. Don't look out. Look. Don't look out for me no way.
He's a liar. The lifestyle he lives is because of me. So now he's lying.
See, because of her. Not because
You just
of
said I
us.
don't look out for you.
See, that's why
No, but you said I don't
have
look
to
out
work.
for you. But that's not true. Why are you telling us that? That's not true? A lot of the things that we do are because of what we're doing together.
You
So
see,
how
I'm
you
looking
gonna-
at y'all, right?
Okay.
Anyway, the point of this, and we are entertainers first and foremost, and I love her. I was gonna say we do love each other. I love her, but she going through some special moments right now.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
But what I will say is, we've been together for a while. So while we make fun of situations like this and bring humor to it, the reality is, if you don't create your positions in your relationship, and I'm a strong believer that the man should be the CEO in the household. And that means direction. And let me say what direction is. Direction means regardless of who's making the money, regardless of who's handling the bills, the man should be the one making the decision on what is the proper approach to managing what's best for the family. Let me say that again. What's best for the family? Not who's about to buy a new Canada Goose coat for themselves, even though they got 20 coats. Who could care about that? You know what I mean? Just like I buy a lot of camera equipment and stuff, and it appears in the house.
And sneakers.
No. But yeah, camera equipment, music equipment, that's me. My point is, that doesn't matter, but what's best for the family? And the man should make sure that he creates that direction. And if he's not creating that direction, I personally think that needs to be revisited, and that needs to be a work in progress for a relationship. Everything else I think is manageable. And I think that women can do phenomenal jobs, and I'm not trying to sound any way sexist like this is, ooh, she can do this. But a woman really can do everything. Everything. But
True.
I don't believe that a woman wants to
Including
stress.
hang pictures on the wall straight. But that's another story. All right, babe.
But anyway, going forward, y'all, hope y'all take the time out and truly look at who is doing what and what's the best role in the household, and not put any restrictions on one another. Make the best partnership that you can make with one another.
All right. That's it. What we've learned from here is I'm the best. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions or want to give us a shout out, please let us know at
relationshiprundown@gmail.com. Don't forget to support crackheads around America and the mentally insane around America. But until the next time, I'm Kevin Jones.
And I'm Allison Jones. And
this-
thank you for joining the Relationship Rundown channel.
Good night.